So welcome back, guys. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe, turn on notification, and yeah. So let's get started. So request, you'll be seeing that we'll be using request a lot in our application. Let's just go over to our form controller. You can see we used request right here, and we used request, and when we validating to we validate on the request, and we can see you can see that we also import request as an argument right here. So what exactly are these requests? So requests are just an object way of interacting with your HTTP request that is being sent at the moment. Now this request can also get the cookies, files, input that has been attached to that HTTP request that is being sent. So hopefully this makes sense to you. In theoretically this makes sense to you, and if it doesn't, when we start actually going deeper into request, you're going to understand what request actually does. Now to demonstrate this, we're going to create a view, we're going to create a route, and we in our controller we're going to pass the request back to our view, and we're going to display the request out. So let's just do this, guys, and let's start coding, guys. So the first thing I need to do is to actually create a route that will handle this request. So let's just create this route right now, and this will be a get route. So let's just go over and say call this request, and right here let's just use one of our controllers, or better still, we can just return this request directly. So let's just do a callback here, and this will be request, and this will be $request. So hopefully this makes sense to you. And right here we want to return a view, and right here we want to return form dot request. Now we don't have this view right now, but we're going to create it in a bit. And right here we want to pass the request variable back to our view. So if you watch previous video, earlier videos, I've showed you how you can pass information from your controller or from your route to the view. So that's what we're going to do right now. So this will be the variable name will be request, and it's going to have a value of $request. Now if you're wondering where this $request comes from, it's coming from this variable right here, which is from this object. So if you go ahead and click this, you're going to see how the request object is. So there are a lot of methods that we can use right here on the request object, and we're going to be looking at every one of them one after the other right now. So we've done this. We have the view, we have everything. So let's just go ahead and create the view, which is form.request. Now currently if we go over to this route, we should be getting an error because the view doesn't exist yet. So let's just go over and say request. So we have an error that the view doesn't exist. So let's just go ahead and create this view. So in our resource folder in the view and forms, so let's just go ahead and create this new file right here, and we're going to call this request dot blade dot php. Now that we have this, let's just extend our base template, or we can just leave it right there, and let's just extend it. So this will be at extents, and this will be layout.app. So if we should come here and refresh, you can see we've extended our base layout. And right here in our section, I just want to use the content. So anything we do will be within the content. So right here I want to bring out the request. So let's just refresh this, and you can see we're getting this object. We're getting this object that contains all the information about the request that is being sent at the moment. So to actually view this, let's just get the URL that we're on. So this will be URL, and this will be a function. Let's just refresh and see, and this is the current URL. So these are some informations that the request object provides for us. So if you're building an application, you can get the current URL, which is this. You can see we're getting it from this request. And another thing we can do is we can get the user browser. So this will be user agent, and if we should refresh, this will display the information about the browser. You can see that right here. So there are a lot of things that we can do. We're going to be looking at it one after the other. So one thing we can also do is we can get this route name. So let's just go over and say let's apply a break right here, and right here let's just say this should be URL. Yeah, URL. And another thing we can do is we can get the route name. So let's just say request route, and this will be get name. So this will get the name of the route. Currently, I think we don't have name for this route. Yeah, you can see the request, but we don't have a name for this route. So let's just go over and give this a name. So let's just give this a name, and the name will be request. It all depends on you when you're naming your stuff. So let's refresh, and you can see the name that we're giving to this. So if we call this dot get, so if we call this whatever name we want, let's just refresh, you can see that name right there. So another thing we can do is we can get the parameters that will be assigned with this request. So to do that is actually simple. So we can go over and say, so let's just copy and paste this, and we can say full URL with query. So if we come here and refresh, we're getting an error because we need to pass an argument to this. So let's just go over and pass an argument, and this could be anything. Let's just say page is equal to 2. So let's refresh. So you can see we're getting the full URL with the query. It all depends on you. You can just get the full URL too. So you can say this should be full URL. So you can get that too. Let's refresh. So I think undefined function full URL. Let's just see that okay, we have a typo here. So let's refresh. So you can see we're getting the full URL, we're getting the URL. It might look the same, but they're actually different things. So another thing we can do is we can get the path. We can get the path, and let's just say call this path. So let's refresh. So we're getting the path, which is this, and you can go ahead and name this for convenience sake. Let's just call this user agent. This should be let's just put this in a paragraph. So let's do the same thing here. Let's just Ctrl C and hold the Alt key, so to actually select this multiple times. and this will be URL, and this will be full URL, and this will be path, this will be route name, and this will be full URL with query. So let's just do the same thing here. Let's hold the auth key, and this will be / paragraph. So if we should come over here and refresh now, you can see we have this better UI now. So this is the part, you can see the part right here. So that's the part, and the last thing I want to show you is you can get the user IP address. So this should be let's say call this IP, and right here let's just say IP. So hopefully this makes sense to you. So this is IP, and yeah, so let's refresh. You can see this is the IP address. So it all depends on how you want to use your request. There is actually uh, a lot more that we can do with this. It's actually much than this, but I'm just showing you the basic, the most important ones that you can use. You can also get the method in which the request is being called on. So it all depends on you. You can also get the full URL without a query. So yeah, so that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next video, guys.